Okay, so I got a quadratic equation up on the board. And this video is about solving that without having to do any work. Before I get to that, quick shout out to Yasser. Thanks for the communication. I was wondering who was on the other end of those replies and or comments and where you were from. So appreciate that. Nice of you to write. I also have someone else who's trying to, Salatin, you're trying to get in touch. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Here's my email. I did put it into the profile information, but I'll put it here as well, just in case you're still looking. Happy to chat, probably better by Zoom than email, but either way, so jvollinger@nmhschool.org. Happy to chat. All right, so now I'm going to solve that equation up there without having to do any work other than that's just some addition, subtraction, basically. And I'm not getting very good at that anymore in my ripe old age. Starting to slow down. All right, so let's see. Gonna start snowing here soon. All right, X. Try to find the X values that get 89. So first thing I'm gonna do is just do the problem. So -2, so -37, plus minus the square root 126/3. All right, so how did I get that number? Minus B over 2A. So -12 divided by 6, so not hard to do, mental math that. Plus minus, I took the A term and I just divided over here by the A term. And then I plugged -2 in. And in my head, I said, oh, I'm -24. I cut that in half. -12 minus 25 is -37. I added 37 to 89 and I got 126. All right, so I've got my H, which was -37. I got my A term, which is given. That's a gift. And I plugged in, oh, H was -2, K was -37. So what I'm basing this on is the A x minus H squared plus K format. And in this case, I want to write 89 over here. So 3x plus 2 squared minus 37 equals 89. So I'm going to add 37, 126. Unless I made a mistake, I'm going to divide by 3. And we can see that's part of the answer. Then I'm going to do what? I'll just get the answer here. Make sure you can see it. Then I've undone that. Now I undo squaring, which is plus minus square rooting. Remember, x squared equals 9 has a +3 and a -3 for answers. Two answers, quadratics, plus minus. And then I got to move the +2 to the other side and make it -2. That's all I got to do. Now, you can't do that with every problem, but a lot of them you can. So what I've basically done is I've got the quadratic. I found -2 was the x value of the vertex, -37. And my A term is 3. And I'm trying to hit a height of 89. Well, I got to get from -37 to 89. I got to get 126 units. All right. H is an addition or subtraction number, so just got to move it to the other side of the equation. All right. I got to measure from there. So +2 becomes -2. And I just got to undo squaring. And so if I've got the vertex and the A value, I can solve any problem with ease. And so I'm hoping that you might use that method. So what was my answer? My answer was 3 times was -2 plus minus the square root 126, 3 plus 2 squared minus 37 equals 89. Let's see if it works. Well, first off, -2 and +2 cancel. Squaring a positive or a negative gets us a positive. Squaring a square root gets you what's inside. I see the 3's cancel. I get 126 minus 37. And if I didn't make an addition and subtraction error, looks like I'm right. So you try one now. Pause the video, give it a go. I'll give you a moment. Of course, I'm going to keep talking. All right. So 20 divided by 4 gives me 5, so I write 5 plus minus. The A term, whoops, meant to put that here. The A term is given, it's a gift. So therefore, I am going to write division by that A term over here. All I have to do is find the Y value of the vertex and see how far I am from 53. So I'm going to drop 5 in. Minus 100 cut in half is minus 50 plus 11 is minus 39. So all I got to do is add 39 to 534. And I think I'm at 573. And I think I'm done. Now, you could do the quadratic formula, but I think it's going to take a lot longer. Maybe not even looking at conceptually why something works. Okay, so if we put this in graphing form, 2x minus 5 squared minus 30, what did I say, 39 equals 534. Well, put a box around this. I think that thing's got to equal 5. Yeah, it's got to equal 573, right? Because 573 subtract 39 is 534. So to find that 573, hopefully you can see why you add 39 and you get 573 over here. Let's get rid of that operation. All right, now we've kind of gotten rid of that term. Then you're going to divide by 2, right? I mean, you got to double something. You got to double something to get 573. So what do you double? Well, you got to double 573 divided by 2 in order to get 573. So I hope you can see why you're bringing the 2 over, and that's a gift. Then we're undoing, I guess we'll do the next one. You got to square something to get 573. Well, I guess you got to square root 573 divided by 2. Because when you square it, you get what you want, and then you move the 5. So that's kind of the process. Let's try one more. Okay, what if you got a picture? What if you already have the Y value of the vertex? You already have the X value of the vertex, and you got the A value. And you're trying to get to minus 30. Well, first thing I see is I don't have any real roots. This parabola does not intersect that altitude, so I know I'm going to have an I in my answer. All right, so I'm after the square root, I'm going to have an I. So I'm really just asking the question, how far is it from 7 to minus 30? Well, 37 units. I know I'm going to have a multiplier of 2, so the inverse when solving an equation is division. I know I'm going to have squaring, so that's why we have a square root with a plus minus, and I'm measuring from 5. That's my answer. So let's put the minus 5 here. Let's put the squaring. Let's put the doubling. Let's set it to 7. And let's set it to what? Minus 30. Well, I hope you can see minus 37 would be your first step. You do this in your head. Going to divide by 2. Going to undo squaring, plus minus square rooting. And then we're going to move the minus 5 over positive 5. And then we're going to check our answer, right? Because I'm not doing much thinking here. I'm just writing the answer out. So what happens to the 5s? They cancel. What happens when you square this? Because you do that before you multiply, you get rid of the plus minus, you get rid of the plus minus and the square root, and you get I squared. What happens with I squared? Turns the number in front of it, changes the sign, so now I know I have a negative. What do I get when I divide by 2 and multiply by 2? That cancels. And what's minus 37 plus 7? Minus 30. So the answer was right there in front of you. Just take it. Didn't have to do anything. So let's see what this one is. Pause the video, you give it a try, then I'll upload this thing. Okay, well, I've got 2 things, 2 gifts right away. And I'm trying to get to 100. So I know I got to go up 97. So as far as I'm concerned, I've got x equals 5 plus or minus the square root of 97. The only thing I'm missing is the a term. And that's really easy to get. 3 to 20 is 17 units. Right? That's my change in y. The quadratic change. Okay, remember, I'm changing squared amounts. The change in x, the linear change, is 6 units. But the quadratic change is 36. So I have to divide 36, put a 17 in here. That should be my answer. So let's doctor that up a little bit. 5 plus minus the square root of 97. Let's multiply by 36 and divide by 17. And let's check that answer out. Okay, so I'm suggesting 17 over 36. So we're going to multiply by, we're going to put this answer in. 5 plus minus the square root of 97 times 36 over 17 minus 5 squared. And the vertex was plus 3. And let's see if we get ourselves to 100. All right, well, I can see the 5's cancel. They always do. I can see the plus minus gone. I can see the squaring. So now, oh, I can see the 17 cancels. I can see the 36 cancels. And 97 plus 3 is 100. Sometimes finding the vertex is all it takes. And if you're finding the vertex, you got the a value. So all you're doing is finding that y value and seeing how far you are from whatever answer you want to get. And get in the habit of writing that. I feel like I'm losing my voice here. So I'll put that up and hope that it might help somebody. Oh, I had one more problem that I did out. I wanted to see how long it would take to do this. Yeah, and also the quadratic formula with a fractional problem. I was just curious. So minus b over 2a is actually 5 halves. So 5 halves plus minus. I did the division in my head 5 halves, but I had to put 5 halves in here, which is minus 25 fourths. I'm sorry, minus 25 halves, but when I cut it in half, it's minus 25 fourths plus 7, 28 fourths, so 3 fourths. So 3 fourths plus 22, that's why I wrote mine, because I got to move the 3 fourths to that side. Minus 22 and 3 fourths divided by 1 came out to be 5 halves plus minus the square root of 91 over 2i. Then I did the quadratic formula, taking shortcuts wherever. Okay, so I did have to verify that. I wanted to make sure that that was right. So after I did it in my head, I came over here and it seems to be. So I did the quadratic formula. Let's bring this over a little bit. Minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac. I always put parentheses there to avoid sign errors. So I moved the 22 over doing the quadratic formula. So that's 29. So that's where I got that. And 2a is 2 times 1. Coefficient's 1. So I did that. And then I did 25 minus 116. Divided that by 2. Well, I suppose I got to have this over here now, right? Forgot to do that. So a little bit of a mistake there at the end. Always seem to make them. But they are the same answer. I'm not sure. It was about the same amount of time for me. So fractional situations, not sure. Court's still out. All right, so I'll upload that now. Just thought I'd show it. I'm sure I'm forgetting things I want to say, but trying to keep the timeline on some of these things a little less because, yeah, they take some time. All right.